My name is Howard Hunt, and I came up here from Arkansas to pay a special tribute to my uncle, who left me with so many fine memories, but also with so many fine teachings about life. To be able to speak to you today about my uncle brings me great joy. Although time prohibits me from painting the mosaic of my wonderful memories and relationship with my uncle, let me pass on to you some of my special remembrances. There are many special moments in our lives, starting with our birth, which none of us know who was there other than our mother for that blessed event. Although my grandfather, Uncle Myron's father, Erickson, used to tell us that he remembered the sound of the horse's hooves when the doctor came to deliver him. Most of us cannot remember that far back. But most of us do treasure special moments in our lives where special people were involved, and so that is with me and my Uncle Myron. Uncle Myron was there when I showed my first 4-H calf at the county fair in Yellow Medicine County, Minnesota. I had a very trying moment after that fair, watching as my calf was shipped off to market. I was very unhappy with my father for doing that. But Uncle Myron was there, and he explained to me in a way that really comforted me what that calf's life was all about. He and his family, which at that time was only Bob and Judy, were on their way to Oregon to visit Myron's sister and my aunt, Emily. And they took me along. I had just graduated from the 8th grade, and this was the beginning of what became later a very wondrous life, as travel and the desire to see more of God's creation has never left me. Uncle Myron was there when I was married in a small town in west central Minnesota, as he was for all of my siblings' weddings, no matter where they took place. Those are important memories because we knew he was there because he cared. On several occasions, we would stop, my wife and I and my children would stop with our family on our way home from a vacation, and he and Aunt Helen, another treasured memory, would be so special for us. 2 of my children are here today from Minnesota to pay their respects because of those fine memories. A more recent memory occurred just a couple of years ago when I stopped to visit my Uncle Myron, as I did quite often on my way to Minnesota. And we had a long visit that morning. I was kind of in a hurry to get to Minnesota, but what happened that morning delayed me for several hours. We spent time reminiscing, as we often did, about old times, and me in particular enjoying hearing of his memories of his youth in response to my queries. But he also wanted to know about what at that time was my newfound faith. When it was time for me to leave, he came to the door with me, and as I stepped out the door and turned to say goodbye, he looked at me with a very stern look and he said, "Will you come to my funeral?" I stepped back in and embraced him, wondering what quick I was going to say, and the Lord put these words in my mouth: "Only if you promise to come to mine." He then gave his little chuckle that everyone who knew him know what I'm talking about when I said his little chuckle. And then he said in a very, very happy voice, "It's a deal." And I learned a long time ago that a promise made is a debt unpaid. And so here I am, knowing full well that he will be there when the good Lord calls me home, and we will once again embrace and have a great chuckle. My uncle will be laid to rest in a cemetery that lies about halfway between the 2 farms he spent most of his life on. At his grave is a stone with a special message that he wanted to leave for all of us to contemplate. The stone has the dates of his birth and the dates of his death, separated by a dash. That dash represents a lot more than just a story. It represents a life lived. I am so grateful to the good Lord for the privilege of having been a part of that dash. I want to leave you with some words that I remember reading a long time ago. And I know if I would have had the opportunity to read these to my Uncle Myron, he would have said, "Yes, that's me." This is about a farmer. I believe a man's greatest possession is his dignity, and that no calling bestows this more abundantly than farming. I believe hard work and honest sweat are the building blocks of a person's character. I believe that farming, despite its hardships and disappointments, is the most honest and honorable way a man can spend his days on this earth. I believe farming nurtures the close family ties that make life rich in ways that money can't buy. I believe my children have learned values that will last a lifetime and can be learned in no other way. I believe farming provides education for life that no other occupation teaches so much about birth, growth, and maturity in such a variety of ways. I believe many of the best things in life are free. The splendor of the sunrise, the rapture of the wide open spaces, and the exhilarating sight of my land turning green each spring. I believe true happiness comes from watching your crops ripen in the field, your children grow tall in the sun, your whole family feels the pride that springs from their shared experience. I believe that in my toil, I am giving more to the world than I am taking from it, an honor that does not come from all men. I believe my life will be measured ultimately by what I have done for my fellow man, and by this standard, I fear no judgment. I believe when a man grows old and sums up his days, he should be able to stand tall and feel pride in the life he has lived. I believe in farming because it makes all of that possible. Somehow, I just feel those words were meant to be said as a tribute to my Uncle Myron as we bid him farewell today. But last night, another lesson learned. As I looked upon my uncle resting in his final sleep, I was reminded that each moment in our lives requires special preparation. This then reminded me that the most important moment in my life will be the moment